So tonight we're cooking the share wagyu again, and we're doing the rump cap. So this is what the rump cap looks like. This is a relatively small piece, and there's not very many of us eating tonight, so we're doing a smaller piece than what we normally do. So I'll show you this, show you how to prep it for the rodizio for going around, and we're also going to do some stuffed mushrooms. So there you go, this is the rump cap. We're just taking out the package and padded it dry. Beautiful looking marble you can see in there. And what we're going to do is just trim a little bit of this fat out of the back of it. Not a great deal, but we'll just take a little bit out the back of here and just tidy it up a little bit. Doesn't need much trimming, it just tastes nice anyway. We'll just take a few bits off. So there you go, it's trimmed up now. Only took a few minutes, very little to come off it. It's nice to have the fat cap, it's got a good fat cap on here, so we'll leave that on because it should render really nicely on the rodizio. So what we're going to do is we're going to slice this to probably 3 fingers wide, so somewhere around that region. So around that area there. So this is to go on the rodizio. So there's the first piece. And there you go, you can see the marbling on there, which is just absolutely fantastic. So then we'll do another couple of pieces, round about the same. So another one about here. So again, you can see the same sort of size, absolutely beautiful. And then last one. About here, and then the other piece we'll save for tomorrow. But again, absolutely beautiful, and these will fold really nicely. As you can see with these, when you get it onto the rodizio, you want to be trying to create a semicircle. So you're just pushing it around, and then you're sticking the skewer through, and that's how you make it into the picanha cut, where it's more like a churrasco, and you can actually slice pieces off. Okay, so here we go. This is the skewer for the rodizio. All set up here at the proper length, so there's no problem with that. And what we've got to do is try and start mounting the meat on. We'll start with the biggest piece first and fold that around and try and get it into that sort of semicircle shape again. So we'll start it off. Start it going through, be very careful where your fingers are. And there she goes, that's about perfect. Move it up to there. Next one again, forming it round. Get it nice and central, into the middle, where she goes. And again, perfectly going through, so there's 2 nice pieces on there. And the last piece is the smaller piece, the one we got off the end. So again, just trying to get that nice shape. So we'll just start her off. And away we go. So there's the 3 nice pieces that are on the skewer, all ready to go. And that should be just about perfect. What we're going to do now is I'll come back and we'll add some salt onto there. So the idea with the picanha is plenty of salt. Nice big flakes, so I've got some Malden sea salt here. It needs plenty on, and you're going to cook it, sort of 2 or 3 times. You're going to get it cooked, then you're going to slice the pieces off the edge, and then you're going to put it back on again and cook it again, and then slice it again, and you might get either 2 or maybe 3 attempts of meat that's coming off it while it's still cooking. So it needs to go on the face side, but also on the fat. And that should start getting the fat nice and rendered and starting to crisp up. So it's quite important to get some of that on the fat side as well. And as I said, plenty of it on. Don't skimp. And then final side. And obviously whilst it's cooking, a lot of the fat renders off and sort of washes some of the salt off, but keeps a fantastic flavour in there. So I'll just pat that in, and that's really ready to go now. So tonight we're also cooking some stuffed mushrooms. So all I've got in here is some pork, some minced porks, nice and fatty. You can see the fat in there. No real measurements for this, but I'm just going to add some flavourings in for the stuffed mushroom. So this is some garlic powder that goes into there. So that's the stuff that comes from Costco. We've got some onion powder. So a nice straightforward onion powder in there as well. Just adds that little bit of flavour. And we'll add some salt and pepper. So bit of cracked pepper. And all this is going to do is get stuffed in the mushroom and give it a bit of flavour. And then we've got some salt in there as well. So we'll put some of that in. And then finally, just for another bit of flavour, I'm going to put a bit of Worcester sauce in. And squirt a bit of that in. Just adds a little bit of a kick to it and makes it a bit more tastier. So I'm just going to mix all of that together. And then this will be what we'll actually use for stuffing into the mushrooms. And along with this, there's going to be some garlic butter that I've already made. And we'll also add in some bacon around the outside. And then that'll go into the skewer and it'll go into the rodizio. So it'll go into the rotisserie and it'll be rotisted around. So it should end up being pretty tasty, but it just gives that little bit of extra flavour. The only other thing I'm going to add into there is this is a bit of Mad Hunky rub. So Mad Hunky General Purpose rub. So I'll add a bit of a dash of that in there. And again, just gives it a bit of a kick. And mix that in as well. Mad Hunky rub goes really, really well with things like corn. If you're doing sweet corn with butter on, Mad Hunky is absolutely gorgeous on there. And I'll put some of this on the outside of the bacon as well. And it just adds another level of flavour to the stuffed mushrooms. So I'll show you in a few minutes. Actually stuffing the stuffed mushrooms. Also made some garlic butter. So this is just some butter, salt and pepper, and some crushed garlic, and also a few chili flakes have gone in there as well. And they'll get stuffed into the cavity of the mushroom, and then the mince will go on top of there afterwards. So that gives you a bit of an idea. These are the mushrooms that we're using today, a bit bigger than last week's. All I'm going to do is break the centre out to give it a bit more space, and that's where the butter's going to go into there. And then peel them, and then we'll start to add everything else back into there in terms of the butter and also the mince. So we'll start to stuff one of these mushrooms now. You can see the mushrooms all peeled, nice area inside. I'm going to fill the middle of these with some of this beautiful garlic butter. So we'll put that into there and fill the garlic butter in there, which will be quite good, maybe a tiny little bit more, be a bit naughty. So there's the garlic butter going into there. Then grab some of the mince, the seasoned mince, and sort of push that in and fill that in. Make sure there's no spaces or anything, so get plenty of that mince in there. So put the mince in, and then what we'll do is we'll finish off with a little bit of this. So I'm going to go through the middle, so I just need to make sure that's covered and past there. These are going to be a bit of a struggle to actually fit on there, but we'll have a go, and then we'll go across the other way as well. So we'll do a bit of a lattice across this and see how we go from there. So that's the idea of them. We'll try and stick them together and see how they go on the actual skewer. So the mushrooms ended up being a little bit too big and couldn't get the bacon to wrap around, so I just had to put them on the face side, and we'll just see how they go. Next time I reckon smaller mushrooms, and making sure that we've got plenty of streaky bacon. Okay, so here's what we've got. We're just about to start the Komodo Kamado. I use a map torch, which is this big thing, which is beautiful. Get them from Masters or Bunnings, and it just uses map gas, and then it's got a weed burner. What I'm going to try and do is set a couple of areas going for 20 or 30 seconds, maybe a bit more. I've opened the bottom dampener and I've opened the top, so it should catch pretty quickly. So just hold it in the same place for maybe 30-40 seconds. Start 2 or 3 different places. Sometimes the charcoal can start to flare up and send lots of bits in the air and spits at you. If it does that, I normally just pull down the lid so that I cover myself. But in this case, this mallee root seems pretty good. The mallee root that I get is from a place in Dingley Village in Melbourne. It's called AP Fuel Merchants. Around about $28, $29 for a 20 kilo bag. So I've got one area going, get another area going. And this will catch pretty quickly. It'll take 20-25 minutes to get up to about, I don't know, to 600-700 degrees. And at that point I'll look at putting on top the Rodizio and putting it on top. So that should catch pretty quickly. So again, you can see that area is caught. I'll do a bit down here as well. Very simple, but it gets it going really quickly. Much better than using fire lighters, and I prefer using this to any of the chimney starters as well. I'll show you again when it's actually caught and started. So I've got the charcoal starting to go. I'm going to leave the top open now to put the Carson Rodizio on, and I've left the bottom dampeners wide open. So what I'm going to do is the Carson Rodizio has already been set for the right length. So I'll lift this up and start to move it in place. So this is going to sit at the back of the barbecue, resting on the back shelf, as you can see. So it's rested up here at the back, fastened onto there. This can be adjusted in and out. So this is like a trombone section, and can be adjusted in and out using these Allen keys here. So you adjust the 4 Allen keys, and this can move in and out. You can see it's sat on here really nice and snug, so it's not going to go anywhere. So I'll leave it on there till the fire gets going, and then obviously I'll start to put the meat on, and in the meantime I'll sort the plug out as well. So this is the power pack for the Carson Rodizio. This plugs into the back. You can see here that comes out the back of the Rodizio. So this plugs into there, and then it's got a 240 going straight into the mains. So very easy to use. We're now about 10 minutes in. Obviously the lid's open, so it's going to go a lot faster, but you can already start to see some of the flames coming through. And you know, we'll be looking for the white ash on the charcoal so that it sort of dies down a little bit, and I reckon that'll be, you know, around about another 15-20 minutes and we should be good to go. So the fire's going pretty well now. I've just knocked down the settings at the bottom to hopefully let it calm down. And what I'm going to do is get the Rodizio working. So you can hear that makes a bit of noise, but it's nothing to worry about. Make sure it's nice and back there. So I'll take these out. So again, you can see them, they just look gorgeous. So they're going to go in the middle. Aim that to put it in, get it sat in there nicely, and they'll sit in there and start to cook. And then I've got the mushrooms. Mushrooms, I'll maybe start higher at the top. You won't need to cook as long. And see how they go. There you go. So there's the mushrooms. I might move the mushrooms down in a few minutes, but I'll let it start cooking this way. So as we go on, I'll show you how this actually cooks. But normally if there's a few more of us, it's a lot easier. Put a lot more skewers on, sweet corn, peppers, whatever you fancy you can put on there. So here's the Picanha, been on for maybe, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes. And is looking absolutely beautiful. The fat's rendering down, you can see the flare-ups from the fat. But the speed of this actually seems to work really well. It seems to go that fast that the fat seems to coat the outside of the meat and doesn't drip off as much. The second you stop this, the fat drips down and you get amazing flare-ups. So the speed of this, they must have worked this out really, really well, because it's just about perfect. It works incredibly well. So really looking forward to actually trying this soon. The Picanha's looking absolutely awesome. going to be another couple of minutes and we'll take it off there and ready to slice, but it just looks absolutely amazing. You can see the fat coating it as it goes around, as that fat cap starts to render down. Absolutely amazing. So here's the first pass of the picanha. Going to slice it off the outside and then put some more salt on and then put it back on again. So we'll just take nice thin pieces off the outside of it. As I turn it round, you'll be able to actually see what it looks like, which looks beautiful. Okay, so there's the first one, then we'll just put some more salt on and this will go back on the grill again.